Let me ask you this. During your time when you were in prison, did Mexican ever put on boots?
Yeah, they did. Black boots.
They did put on boots?
Black boots, bro. Black boots.
Let me ask you this. So was the saying true when they put on those boots, they ready to scrap or what?
Nah, bro. It wasn't really nothing like that going on. Like it was really for the most part, it was pretty chill, man. Like, everybody was doing their own thing. Not saying that, sometimes stuff didn't jump off, but for the most part, it was pretty chill. You know what I'm saying? As long as you stay out of the next man's way and
Yeah.
don't be in that fix, you're all right.
Uh-huh. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because if people, the only thing they know about prison is what they see on TV or like the Boondocks or anything. They got a crazy perception on it. You know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
just watch Locked Up Raw and stuff. Let me ask you this: Do males actually get raped in there?
Um, where I was, well, the couple facilities that I went through, nothing like that was really going on. So, that's a blessing that I didn't have to be around anything like that. But yeah, it does go on in real life.
It.
Some of the higher security, facilities, the max security
Mhm.
facilities, there's stuff like that going on. So it's definitely real.
Look, you came home walking right, so it's safe to say
Oh,
you
you
didn't
know it.
get raped,
You know
right?
it. Hey,
Now, when you say this, when you
I
say,
came back how I went in.
yeah, yeah, I saw that, man. It's funny, man. Remember when you came home? I was like, man, you walking funny now. You damn near cussed me out, man. Let
Yeah,
me
yeah,
ask
I
you
was
this:
I
when
was
you
finished.
you were saying it happens in the maximum security facilities. See, and people may be confused. If you have maximum security, isn't there more officers, and you should be safer if it's max security, right?
It depends, man. Maximum security facilities they're a lot bigger, so
Yeah,
you have a lot more ground to cover, and in a
yeah.
max security unit, there's way more freedom. They have way more access
Mm.
to contraband and all the things that we're not supposed to have in there. So
Yeah, yeah. That
it's
makes
kind of
sense.
hard
If you
to
don't
not
have
have any.
enough guards to watch everything that's going on, you got some stuff slipping in, huh?
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. It's from drugs to you know cell phones,
Yeah,
money,
yeah.
anything you can think of, man. There's a way.
Man, it's crazy you say that, man. I won't disclose any names or something, but I got family members in there, and they would
Yeah,
have cell phones, man. I'm like, how the hell are you texting me?
yeah,
But you
man.
know what I learned as well, that sometimes if you're cool with the guards will send a message for you. You know what I'm saying?
They will. And two, well, with cell phone, they call it in prison. They call it a jag.
What
That's
they call it?
they call it a jag. That's like the lingo for a cell phone in prison. So
Why? Why? I don't understand.
that that's just I don't know who came up with it, but that's what they call the cell phones.
So you just like, man, I got a jag on me.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy.
Man, who the hell
When
who the
I
hell is
turned
paying these cell
what?
phone? Who the hell paying to keep these cell phones on?
Man, I don't know, bro. I wasn't in none of that mix.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So you were
I
pretty much on the straight and
just
narrow.
what's that?
So you were pretty much on the straight and narrow during your
Oh,
time, man.
definitely. Most definitely, man.
Mm-hmm.
The only like the main things that was on my mind is, man, for one, this ain't for me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm not being around a bunch of dudes all
yeah,
times of the day.
yeah, yeah,
I like women, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I like female company. You feel me?
That you do. That you
And
do.
but really on a more serious note, the thing really that motivated me the most was getting home with my kids, man. My kids and my family.
Yeah, I
Because they,
remember
they
when we would write, you would always say, when I get out, I'm gonna do better for my daughters. You were always so concerned about your family. You
always,
were concerned about your mama being stressed out. Your
always,
daughters and everything. And I commend you on that. And it was never, I'm not to say you were never down on yourself.
yeah,
It was always, how can I use this time to improve my mental state so when I come out, I'm a better version of myself. You know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly.
Let me ask you
That's,
this: when
that's
when you
exactly what it was.
receive your when you received your sentence, was that like a punch to your gut or what? Like when they
Man,
said, "Hey,
bro,
you got 4 years," did you think you were gonna sit for 4 years?
honestly, I didn't even know how to react, bro. Like it was so surreal because I woke up that morning and they're like, you got court. So I get up, they put me on the bus, transport me down to the courthouse, and I'm nervous while I'm in there.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I'm hoping they just, give me probation.
yeah,
I run my, I was already on probation for a misdemeanor. So I'm like, hopefully they just run the two concurrent and I just, have one probation that I gotta do.
yeah.
So, I get up there and judge says what he has to say. He asked me if I have anything to say, and I didn't. I really didn't. So
Mm-hmm.
he was just like, well, at this time I'm sentencing you to 4 years in a Texas correctional facility,
Yeah.
and like it was the worst feeling ever, bro. Especially because my mom, she was in there, and
Mm.
like I'm looking out at her, but it's hard to look out at her because she already had tears in her eyes,
Man.
before I got sentenced, and that was really one of the hardest. I don't even, like, it was just one of the hardest things to stomach, to sit there and watch your mother, crying like that. Like it was tough, bro. It really was.
Damn, bro. Yeah, you never told me that story. That's
Yeah,
insane, man. And I
that
can
was tough.
imagine the rush of emotions from you,
Man.
from your mama, everything. Like you said, man, she was in tears. Nobody wants to see their baby getting
Nah,
thrown in a cage. You know what I'm saying? And I know how loving your mother is. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I love Miss Heidi. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's insane. Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Once you got sentenced and you were going into prison,
Uh,
what did you feel like walking into the facility? Did you feel like, people are looking at you like fresh meat? Am I going to have to box as soon as I get in?
I mean, honestly, I really just played it how it went, bro. I just, I didn't know what to expect, because I was
Yeah.
getting so many different stories from
Hmm.
everybody. So I'm like, man, who knows who's telling the truth, who knows what's real, what's not. So I'm like, I just got to get there and see.
Who was giving you these stories?
Just other inmates
Yeah.
that were locked up with me that had been down before.
Hmm.
So they were all kind of trying to lace me up on what to expect and whatnot. And
Hmm.
I'm kind of like, all right,
You're
I'll
gonna
see when I
say,
get there. Really, like,
yeah,
that's how we doing it.
it's you can't avoid it now, so you're just gonna play it how it come, huh? So you're
Yeah,
saying I'm ready for whatever come my way.
yeah. I mean, I went in there with a clear conscience from the jump. Like, man, it's just I can't. Ain't nothing to cry about now. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I can't run from it. I can't reverse it. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna do my time, and I'm gonna get home. And
Hmm.
that was it, point blank.
That make perfect sense. Did you
Yep.
ever witness any violent crimes while you were in there?
Yeah. There were plenty of fights.
Hmm.
Fights, but for the most part, that's as violent as it got. There wasn't any stabbing going on or you know
Hmm.
any craziness like that. But yeah, there were definitely plenty of fights.
So I guess it's safe to say that you got into a good facility, and I put quotations on good, meaning, you know, compared to other facilities, you got a pretty nice deal.
Yeah, man. For the most part, it was pretty laid back, man. Like I said, I went in there on with my mind set on, look, man, I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Hmm.
Stay out the way. I'm gonna stay focused, stay prayed up, and I'm gonna get home. And that was my mentality the whole time.
Man, you know what it sound like? It sound like when they sentenced Pablo Escobar to jail, man. He had it like a hotel in there. You make it sound like it was all plush and roses, man. You all
No,
you
I ain't
saw was fights. You didn't see
no,
any stabbings.
not at all, not at all. I'm not gonna say that, but really, just the kind of mindset I have when it comes to really any situation in life. It's just, you can't cry about it. Like you got to do what you got to do, get it over with, and keep it pushing. Really,
Hmm. That
you
make
know,
perfect sense.
yeah, you certain things in life you just can't change. So you just gotta accept it and press forward. That's how
That,
I looked at it.
yeah, that make perfect sense. Let me ask you this: when you knew you were facing, well, before you went, you knew you were facing, some time, You wanted parole,
Yeah,
to run a concurrent, so you knew you were facing some time.
yeah. Before I even signed for any time, um, when I was in county, my lawyer he called me one day. So
Uh-huh.
they came and got me, brought me to this other room, and I get on the phone with my lawyer, and he's like, "All right, well, this is what we're looking at." He's like, "The judge is absolutely 100% against giving you probation." And
Damn.
so I'm like, huh? He's like, basically, you're going to prison. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, it was a slap in the face, really.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's like, wow,
Hey,
that's just
hey,
what it is. I'm going.
man, well, knowing that, why didn't you snitch on somebody that's like selling food stamps for
Man,
a shorter sentence? As you know, people be slanging food stamps. You could have served 3 months.
hey, man, you'll never see my name on any kind of paperwork. Well, business.
Let me ask you this: how did you keep your sanity? I know we wrote you a lot of stuff. Did that help?
That helped a lot.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. It really did. Like that. That really like getting letters from my loved ones. That really helped me. It let me know that yeah, I made a mistake and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out there right now, but I'm still loved, and that's important because there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that they don't have any loved ones, man. Like they done been in trouble in and out of prison so many times. Family, everybody done gave up on you. Your wife
Mm.
left you. Your kids done turned their backs on you. Like it's just you.
I bet that could throw somebody into depression, man.
Definitely, definitely. So
Mm-hmm.
I was very blessed to have so many family members,
Mm-hmm.
friends, like
Mm-hmm.
just people I didn't even expect. Wrote me like, hey, I hope everything's good with you. I had no clue that you were away.
Yeah.
Just stay up, and I hope you'll be home soon. Like that stuff really encourage you and just motivates you to just hey, I got to keep going.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, man. It was
Yeah,
good you were able to, like you said, keep the faith during that time. Let me ask you
definitely.
this: did you have a large, let's say, a support system? Did a lot of people hold you down when you were locked up, and how did they hold you down?
I did have a good support system. I did. Some people that I expected to be there per se, or to hold it down, they weren't. Which it was cool. It is what it is. Like hey, that's not your responsibility. Like I got myself into this, so any kind of support or love I get, that's really just it's just a blessing. It's not like people had to hold me down or keep in contact or make sure my books were good. None of that. So it was definitely a blessing to have a big support system. I had my parents, of course, grandparents, siblings, you, of
Hmm.
course. You my right hand man. You held it down. Like I really appreciate
I
that. Like
really appreciate that, fam.
you was on top of it, bro. So just know, I appreciate that
Man, we locked in for life, man. We
a
locked
lot.
in for life. Well, let me ask you this: you had a big support system. Was there anybody you expected to support you that kind of turned their back on you, or like, man, Trey's locked up, fuck him? Or did you get that feeling from anybody?
I did. I got that film from a couple people. I'm not gonna put any names
No,
out
no,
there,
no.
but
Don't put any
there,
names out. But you don't forget stuff like that, do you? Like when you're sitting there and thinking, do you think about, man, I haven't heard from so and so, or
yeah, yeah, it definitely crosses your mind. So
mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it doesn't. Like there were them days where I'm like, man, I wonder how such and such is doing. I would have expected them to
Mm,
road or something, but but also on the same token, I didn't have any ill-hearted feelings towards anyone because, like I said, even though time has slowed down per se for me because I was
mm-hmm.
on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
I knew life was still going on out here. So you know, couldn't cry about it and be mad about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. I got myself in here,
Mm-hmm.
so be it. If that's what
Yeah,
it is,
I,
hey,
I heard an old head say this. You just said something. I got myself in there. Well, I heard an old head who said he didn't like to hear people say, well, he got himself locked up because he understood, yes, you can't change the past. We know that happened. However, help me through this. Help me
yeah,
change.
oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
what do you think about something like that? You think that's true? Your loved one should still help that person that got locked up?
Absolutely. I mean, if that's really your loved one, then yeah, man, like it ain't even about money on your books or like a
Mm-hmm.
letter. You never know what your loved one on the inside is going through,
Yeah.
mentally. Every day, it's like, man, like
Yeah.
it's something, like I miss my kids. I miss my parents.
Yeah.
I'm like, it be days I'm like, man, I miss just being able to just hop in my car, take a drive, and go get something to eat, whenever
Yeah.
I want. Like simple things like that. So, it was definitely challenging at times,
Uh-huh.
but with the support, of family and friends,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely, kept me going. So
Oh, that's dope. I've heard people say my best day in prison. Well, let me rephrase that. My worst day out here is better than my best day in prison.
absolutely, absolutely. Because think about it like this: when you're in prison, you you have very, if not none, you know, freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have the guards. They they're pretty much in control
Mm-hmm.
to a certain extent. So it's not easy when you're when you're not used to being supervised like that. So most definitely, like my worst day out here will always be my best day in there because hey, out here I still got a chance to make things right, to change this or improve on this. I can go do this, when I want.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly like that in prison. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can agree with that.
Dope, dope. Let me ask you this, cause from what I hear, I haven't seen, but they say you all right from the shoulders. Did you have to fight it all while you were in there, or no?
Now, luckily, man, not that I went back down, but I just wanted my sentence to go as smooth as possible. So no, I didn't have to get in any fights, man. Like, and
Now,
I'm glad I didn't, because you can get your time extended from fighting. So
true,
that was
true.
on my mind. Like,
Now, was that because you didn't fight? Is that because you joined some kind of light skinned gang or what?
no, I wasn't in no kind of gang or anything like that, man. It was just me. I had a couple. Every facility I would go to, you're gonna run into somebody that you might have something in common with, or
Mm-hmm.
someone chop it up with, and kind of, I guess you can say, like, help each other
Yeah.
through their time. Like, I had partners in there that we work out every day, or after we work out, shoot, we gonna make a big spread and
Mm-hmm.
just go down through there. They knew I sang, so they're like, man, London, run that Drake such and such for me one time. Take me to that workout. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So, if you just made the best of it, man, like, them days gonna go by. So
Dope, dope, dope. All right, that made perfect sense, fam. Let me ask you this: how did JPay and pictures work? You know what I mean? Because I would send you money through JPay. They would take a percentage of it out, and then we would also send pictures. Would those pictures come in color or anything, or how did that process work?
uh, if I remember, no, the pictures on JPay, no, they came black and white. Basically the JPay letter, it was like on a white computer paper, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a typed out letter, whatever that person sent to you.
Yeah.
And usually the picture, they come separate. So
Mm-hmm.
some days I might get the letter and then I might not get the picture for another day, 2, 3 days.
Mm. And I'm guessing because they have to take time and look at the pictures and everything, or what?
Yeah, yeah. They have to process through all the mail. They
That's
they look
insane.
it is, but yeah,
How do
they
they
look through
have
all the
time to
mail.
go through all that mail? You know what I mean?
They go through it all. So you know, such and such might have sent a letter out Wednesday. No, let's say Tuesday,
Yeah.
and I might not get it till Friday or so because it's just a process for it.
That's so crazy.
Yes, it is. It really is.
And also, man, it would be like if somebody said a certain phrase or something, you might not get that mail, right?
Yeah, they'll
Because
send it back.
yeah, they'll send it back. I remember somebody was telling me they was writing you, but they would spell something a certain way, and they thought it was gang related.
Yeah, my younger brother, Avion.
Man, that's funny as hell. Yeah, that's crazy. So it was AT writing with all this stuff, huh?
Yeah, man. That's my little brother, man, and he was so upset because I I think who was it? I think it was my sister Pooh. She was like,
Yeah.
yeah, was it Pooh? Somebody. I think it was my sister Pooh though. Pooh or
Yeah.
my mama. Anyway, they were like, yeah, Avion, he keeps writing you and they keep sending letters back too. I'm like, that's why I got to keep going down to the mail room and getting this stuff. Saying I can't get my mail.
Yeah. Boy, it's funny as hell.
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you this: commissary. How did commissary work? You would go down to a certain spot and get all your toiletries, everything you needed.
Basically, yeah. You buy when you first get to TDC. You know, once you're able to get access to any money that anybody sent you or that you came from county. First time you go to commissary, it's smart to buy. I think the first time I bought a commissary bag, of course.
Yeah.
I bought
You had to actually buy the bag.
Yeah, bought a bag, and I bought like some Crocs, like some shower shoes, because it's nasty in there. So you got to have some shower shoes, and you know, of course, like my hygiene, soap, deodorant, toothpaste, all that good stuff. And then from there, I think like I started buying soups and stuff. Like it was new to me, you know.
Yeah.
Besides county, like I had never experienced that, so you know, you kind of got to learn how to budget any money that anyone sends to you. Like you, instead of thinking, man, I want to give me some honey buns this time. Like you got to like you got to think about what your necessities really are. You know.
Man, it's funny you talking about them honey buns. I don't know if you recall, man. Do you remember I sent you a list of jailhouse recipes, bro? I Googled jailhouse recipes. I was wondering if you was using them or not.
I didn't use them, bro. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of those recipes, bro, you had to have like a hot pot and stuff. And where I was at, we didn't have hot pots and whatnot. So
yeah,
I couldn't use a lot of those, but
yeah,
you know,
man, look, I had Googled. I like, man, top recipes in jail. And there was some dude that had been in there, man. They talking about these cakes, all this other stuff. I'm like, man, yeah, Traphus be cooking it up like a chef in there.
Hey, once, you know, after a certain point of me, like, you know, being in there, like, yeah, I started learning how to cook certain things or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to make cakes by cookies and everything. Crazy, bro. It's really crazy. Like just, you know, how you have to learn to accommodate yourself, like just live every day in there. It's just crazy because, you know, you're so limited to everything. So you just gotta, it's almost like finesse, you know, you gotta finesse your way through. You gotta figure things out, finagle, you know, to figure out how to make your stay in there the easiest as possible, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever have to finesse somebody, man? Look, let me tell you a story about one of my partners who went in, man. It was a story where when he came in, you know, a dude was like, hey, you can buy these shades off me, you know what I'm saying? So he like, well, you know, how much they cost or whatever. You know, he said, well, they cost, you know, whoop de whoop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, I can come up with that. So boom, he buys the shades.
Yeah.
So then, you know, the next couple of days, a dude comes up to him, was like, hey, those shades were stolen from my cell. You're going to have to come off those, you know what I'm saying? And my buddy like, man, you need to take that up with whoever stole those shades off you because I bought these fair and square. You know what I'm saying? But it turned out those two dudes is working together. I guess they would run that scam on people, you know what I'm saying? To see who was soft and who would come off those shades. So now they didn't got the money and they still have the shades. Did anybody ever try you with any scams?
Nah, but what I would call that's all which like the story you just told me, that's kind of like what they call a heart check, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Seeing what you own, like if you how you gonna react to, you know what I'm saying, a certain way.
That's exactly what he said. He said when old buddy saw he was down to fight, you know, over these shades, you know, he kind of backed off until they had to close their sales for the day, and then he would talk shit when he couldn't get to him. You know what I'm saying? But then once he saw he was about it, you know, he stopped bothering him about those shades. And he said this too. He said when they was arguing in the cell about it, he said, "Oh, dude would get loud, so he would get a little louder. Or dude would get a little louder, then he'll get a little louder." So he said when old buddy left the cell, he said this: in prison, when you have an argument and somebody just leaves, you never know what they're gonna come back with. So he had purchased a knife earlier, you know what I'm saying? So he said, "Man, I'm sitting in my cell with my knife, waiting for this person to come back, but they never returned because they was really just trying to check to see what I was about. But he
Yeah,
said, I have to protect myself at all
yeah,
times. He said, I'm not looking for trouble, but if it comes to me, I have to be able to protect myself. So I
yeah,
had my knife ready just in case he wanted to return over these shades. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that
That's gonna
term
be
heart check makes perfect sense.
yeah, but it gets crucial like that. At
Yeah.
certain places. But I can honestly say where I was, it wasn't really nothing like that going on. Like,
Where were you actually? So people know where you were.
okay, so from county, I went through a unit called Gurney,
Mm-hmm.
and from Gurney, I went to Bonham, Texas, Choice Moore unit. I was there. I was there most of my sentence. I was there for like 10 months, and yeah, that's in Bonham up near Oklahoma. So it was pretty chill there for the most part. Like, yeah, there were fights and stuff, and
Yeah.
tattooing going on, and
Yeah.
it's always going to be some stuff going on. But for the most part, like I was just doing my time, man.
Yeah.
Like I started working out, and
Mm-hmm.
I would write music.
Yeah.
My passion for music,
Yeah.
singing.
Hell yeah.
That's my passion. So I was writing music, and yeah, man. People would write me, so I like when I get letters because then that's something to do. Oh, I got to write such and such back. Let them know what's going on, see how they going, how they're doing and whatnot. I talk on the phone. I call my mama
Yeah.
because in there you have to actually have your phone on the outside. Like whoever I'm calling, they have to have their phone. Um,
Like set up to receive calls, right?
yeah, like they have to
Well,
have it registered.
how does it work? Well, in the old days, it would be like you have a 1-800 collect call from so and so. It's not like that anymore, huh?
Yeah, they do. I guess you could say collect calls, but whoever's out here, they get a bill still. So that's how me and my mama was doing for a while, and I was running that bill up. Like you can run it up to $95, so I was running it up, and we finally, just came to the conclusion that it'd be smarter if we would just do it prepaid. Like whenever I go to commissary, I just start buying minutes. So I'll spend this much on my food, hygiene, et cetera, and then I'd buy like $20 worth of minutes, and it would last, because I didn't. There weren't a lot of people that I would call. Like really, my mom and my partner Stacy. That's my big brother too. He had his phone connected to where I could call him straight through. So between them two, I would call them, and But if I wanted to call and check on like my kids
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or like I do a three-way call to where which you're not supposed to, but hey, everybody does it.
Man, tell me that. How did you do the 3-way? Because remember, it would be times your mom would be on the phone and she'll call me. I'm like, how the hell is he setting up this 3-way like this?
That uh, I'd have like little codes that I would say to her. Like when she was able to start visiting me, I would tell her. I'd be like, well, hey, when I call you,
Hey, don't give up the code. Don't give up the game. Don't get yeah.
but I'd be like, when I call you on this day, I'm gonna say this, and this is what it's gonna mean. So she'd be up on game, and that's how
Yeah.
it went.
Yeah,
We had
I was wondering how would she pick up, what I'm saying, to understand that, hey, call someone. Well, don't they listen to the calls? Wouldn't they be
they do.
like, man, they didn't, hit the 3-way. But I guess they can't keep a person on the free side, from, we have free will out here. If we want to call somebody on 3-way, we can. They can't
Yeah,
govern that. But I
yeah.
guess an inmate can't say, hey, call this person on so and so on 3-way, huh?
I mean, you're not supposed to, but it's ways you can kind of sneak it off in there, or
Yeah,
ways around it.
man. It's always a way around something. You know what I'm
Always.
saying? Man, I know you were missing women. Did you jack off a lot or what? I know you had to.
Hey, man, it was some long nights in there sometimes, man. That's I was definitely missing, the the company and the companionship of a woman. I definitely say that.
Yeah, yeah. I can respect that wholeheartedly, man. I can
It was
respect that
it, it
wholeheartedly, man.
wasn't easy. It wasn't easy being away from women, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Cause I say, man, you a nice looking young man. I know you would, miss the company of women. You know, you got a thing for women.
Man, bro, it was tough. I'm not gonna cap. It was.
Yeah,
But, what can I do? You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I
Let me
stay
ask,
focused.
let me ask you this: how'd you get a haircut and stuff? Like, stay fresh and everything.
Well, yeah, there were dudes in there, man. There was dudes in there that had been in there so many times or were in there so long. What they would do is there was a barbershop.
Yeah.
There's clippers in there, but if you're on the dorm and you can't get to the barbershop, like they'll cut your hair with a comb and a razor, a comb, and
Mm.
you bust down the razor, you slide it on the teeth, and get to cutting.
Man, that's crazy. Man, it's
Yeah,
crazy you say that, man. My boy Marcus Turner, he cut out here,
yeah,
man. It was one time, I was like, man, I need a fade, but we didn't have any clippers, bro. He faded my hair with a razor, bro. That's why,
yeah.
like, whenever I say barbers, bro, I always put him amongst the top because I'm like, how are you so talented to do that,
That's not easy. That is not easy.
bro? My fade was perfect, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like,
man.
how can you pull that off?
It's crazy, bro. Like that was my first time seeing that. Like I'm like comb and a razor. How you gonna cut somebody's hair with a comb and a razor?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy the kind of stuff they come up with, man. It's some of the smartest individuals in there. You know what I'm saying?
Man, definitely. It's just like, man, you have so much knowledge and talent too. It's people in there that's talented, man. Drawing,
Mm-hmm.
tattoos,
Yeah,
singing, rapping,
yeah,
anything you could think of. Even uh, people will whip up a nice meal per se.
yeah, 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 yeah.
What they have, and it's like, wow, like you can do that in here. So just
Mm-hmm.
imagine,
What you could do
how
out there?
on the outside we have way more resources.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That make perfect sense, man. After getting out, was it hard finding work?
You know what? Honestly, I got a job within my first 2 weeks, bro. I
Yeah.
got a job within 2 weeks.
So let me ask you this: do you think when people come out and they like, man, it ain't nothing out here for somebody like me, are they just being lazy, or were you just lucky?
I wouldn't say lucky, but there's jobs that accept felons.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on you, really,
Yeah, yeah.
on your brain
Depends
and
on your hustle and you going
yeah,
out there and finding them.
you want it.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it comes down to. And I was like, man, I'm like starting from ground zero almost.
Yeah,
So I kind of just had to, man up, head up, chest out, and just try to figure it out.
that make perfect sense,
It,
man.
it wasn't easy. I had my days where I'm like, man, I'm stuck. Like I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I'm not used to this. I'm not used to being in this position. Like I'm like, I got to figure it out though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't stay down on yourself and never want to improve your current situation. You know what I'm saying? If you stay in a depressed state and you don't actively search, for that
Yeah,
betterment per se, you're not gonna find it.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You got to, you really got to do what I can say about, having to do some time is I had a lot of time to really dig deep and do like some soul searching,
Yeah,
and just to reflect on things that I had been through or mistakes I had made.
yeah,
Had a lot of time to just think, and sometimes it was for the best, and then sometimes it would hurt because it's
yeah,
like, man, I can't believe I'm even in here. So,
yeah.
it was tough. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely tough. But like I said, man, I just had to keep my faith strong and
Mm-hmm.
keep it pushing.
Mm-hmm. That
That
make
was it.
perfect sense. Now that you've experienced that, would you say you would avoid anything that would make you go back?
Absolutely. I would hope anyone would, try to make sure they do everything in their will to stay, stay free.
Mm-hmm.
You
Now,
know,
now,
that's not the
now,
place you want to be.
experiencing prison. If you had a time capsule, you could go back in time. Would you have
Uh,
avoided doing whatever you did that landed you in that situation?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like I feel like that was one of the biggest, if not the, that was definitely one of the biggest mistakes I made.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say I dwell on it because
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing I can do about it now except for just move forward, and
Mm-hmm.
just try to make sure I don't make that same mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, like I if I could go back to that day
Yeah.
where I got arrested, oh yeah, for sure it would have went totally different.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, Trey was arrested for stealing briskets from HEB.
Man,
No, you don't have to say what you did, but man, I really admire that you were able to see or realize, hey, I messed up and I'm never gonna do that again.
oh yeah,
I think it makes a fool of a person if they make the same mistake more than once, but they expect different results. You know what I mean? So that tells me during your time you had self reflection and you
oh yeah,
understood, hey, I'm never gonna do what I did to land me in that position.
absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. It it was it was definitely a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can honestly say, and people look at me crazy when I say this, but like I appreciate that I had to go through it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not gonna lie, like before I got incarcerated, I was in the mix, and
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't always making the best decisions, and I let's just say it could have been a lot worse. So I kind of had to take that into consideration too. Like, man, I could have been in here for something way worse for way more time. So,
Yeah.
but
To,
I'm a
to be honest, and seeing you afterwards, it really slowed you down and matured
oh
you, if I can be honest.
oh yeah, definitely. Because it's like, man, I don't want to put my people through that again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to put my kids through that. I don't want them to have to come visit me, in a prison
Mm-hmm.
like that. That was one of the toughest things that ever have to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
There were the first couple times that my oldest daughter had come to see me.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough because she's so happy to see me. So
Yeah.
we're interacting. I'm asking her how she's doing, what's going on in her life, how's school,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. Where she's coloring, and we're just snacking, enjoying each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as soon as that guard comes over and they're like, "Hey, you got such and such minutes," like
Mm-hmm.
reality steps back in.
Mm.
And I still remember it was one time in particular where my family had brought my oldest daughter to see me, and you know I could sense it. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was good with me,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
when they got ready to leave, it wasn't gonna be good. So
Mm.
she, man, like and that honestly, whew, that was one of the toughest bullets I ever had to bite, man. Like she's crying like out loud, like I miss my daddy, and like
Man, did that tear you up inside?
tore me up, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it tore me up. It really did.
I'd imagine so, man. That's a tough one to swallow for real. And I know how close you are to your daughters. Hell, they all look like you. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
man, I hate to hear that, but your mindset is always for the betterment of your children, man, and I admire that as well. That's a beautiful trait
Uh,
you display.
One thing I always say, man, when it comes to being, a father, I'm nowhere, nowhere near perfect, but
Mm-hmm.
no one can say I don't love my daughters, man, and wouldn't do
Mm-hmm.
anything for them. So, you
Amen.
know, that's definitely, all three of them. They're definitely my heart,
Mm-hmm.
like, and that's not just, I don't use that loosely.
Mm-hmm.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
My
Most.
daughters,
Yeah.
the thought of them is really what got me through.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I'm in here and my kids are out there. Like that's not how it's supposed to be. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
they need their daddy. So that's really what pushed me through a lot too. I'm like, man, I got to get home to my kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Got to
you're
get home.
exactly right. Let me ask you this, just to transition to something else, and I won't take up much more of your time, man. You've been great, and we've had a great conversation. Let me ask you
Good.
this: is it true about prison makeup, the M&Ms. Like you use M&Ms for lipstick. Did you see any of those dudes in there like that?
No, I ain't never seen no stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I know the homosexual communities, being more accepted nowadays. Did you see any of that in there? You didn't see any prison lipstick.
Where I was at, nah, man. Honestly, it wasn't any of that going on. But I can say, when when I was getting ready to come home,
Mm-hmm.
they put me in transition. Like, when I left the last unit I was at,
Yeah.
I had to go through like 3 different units for a week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at this unit for like 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
this like 3 days, and then this last unit for the weekend. Yeah, I actually did see some homosexual inmates, and it was like
Mm.
I didn't went my whole time, without having to run into uh anyone like that, and
Yeah.
it was just like crazy to see it in person because you can tell like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
talk about it like so loosely, like it's just normal. So it was crazy, but
Man, that's
hey,
insane.
that ain't that ain't none of my business. What's going on is your business. I'm going to the house.
Yeah, I hear you wholeheartedly, man.
Uh,
I believe that's all the questions I have for you today, man. I really appreciate your time, and it's always a pleasure speaking to you. I
always.
also want to do another interview with you that's not based on, your time while you were in, and more based on some of your goals and aspirations that you have, in the
Absolutely.
outside world, man. You're a very, very talented singer.
Man,
I'd like to have you live, man. Maybe even grace the pod, with some of your beautiful vocals, man.
cool. I'm always with it. I'm always with it.
Yeah, most def. And if anybody wants to find you on social media or any other outlet, how can they find you? If they want to
Okay.
learn more about Trey.
Facebook, you can follow me at Trenton Deshaun London.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Snapchat, Trey Deshaun, Dashann,
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram is the same, Trey Deshaun.
Mm-hmm. Man, one more question before we get out here. I do apologize. What was your favorite like little snack that you would make? Would you make a spread or anything in there? What was your favorite thing to eat?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I spread every day. Like it'll be times in the day where I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I wouldn't even leave the dorm if there wasn't anything like decent down at the chow hall.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the dorm today. I'm gonna stay in here. I got my food that I need, so I'm gonna just stay in here and I'm gonna whip up what I want to eat. So
Yeah.
yeah, there were times I definitely did a lot of spreading and making cakes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
you gotta make the best of it. So
What was the cheapest thing to buy that you could buy for real cheap so you always know you got some food on you?
as far as food,
Yeah, like from the commissary, like with noodles are pretty cheap. Like what was the
yeah,
cheapest thing?
the noodles were once I got to TDC, they were only, I want to say, 30 cents. Yeah, 30 cents a pack.
Damn, we talking about like the brick like ramen noodles?
Yeah, regular noodles.
I'm thinking they may be cheap on the outside world.
Man, yeah, it was 30 cents. 30 cents a noodle. So usually, when I go commissary, since that was like, I guess you could say, the universal food in prison, and like it was almost like money
Yeah.
basically. So
Like
like
I could trade you 4 noodles for this.
exactly. So like, say if somebody makes a cake and
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, dollar slice. All right, bet here. Give them 3 packs of noodles. That's $1 basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, so definitely, yeah, noodles was definitely a big part of it every day. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
eat
yeah.
anymore.
I wondered, man, why I never see you eating noodles anymore, man.
Yeah,
You tired of them, huh?
man, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes, like when I have my kids or something, especially my oldest daughter, she'll ask for noodles in a second, and I have to tell myself like, don't snap on her. She just a kid. No.
You silly as hell, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Like I say, man, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, Big Trey. You know what I'm saying?
Pleasure.
But we will have you on a future date, man, to talk about some of your current goals and aspirations. All right. I really appreciate it, man, and much love, my brother.
Much love, brother. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Be easy.
You too.